Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're currently scaling AI in your enterprise, we need to talk about an absolute necessity. We're going to break down the urgent business need for a centralized human-in-the-loop architecture to safely govern autonomous AI agents. We are way past the days of AI just acting as a helpful little chatbot, right? Today, AI agents are actually taking action on their own, and we need a structured, robust way to oversee them without totally killing their efficiency.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the autonomous AI risk, the limits of embedded oversight, AI in the loop versus human in the loop, decoupling your architecture, the 4 dimensions of oversight, and finally, some actionable next steps.
All right, Section 1, the autonomous AI risk, the business reality of agentic workflows.
I want you to picture this very real scenario for a second. If a customer service AI agent autonomously issues a $50,000 fraudulent refund to a user, how does your CFO get answers about who actually allowed that to happen? When the AI is just writing a draft email, a hallucination is embarrassing, but when the AI is directly hooked into your payment gateways, your CRM, or your user databases, an error is catastrophic. So the fundamental question you have to ask yourself right now is, as these agents take action, who is actually overseeing them?
That catastrophic scenario is exactly why Gartner predicts that by 2030, a massive 50% of AI agent deployment failures will be caused directly by governance and oversight gaps. Let that sink in. Half of all enterprise AI agent failures won't be because the AI wasn't smart enough. It'll be because the business lacked the runtime enforcement to govern it properly. That is literally the single largest predicted cause of production failures.
And hey, if the massive financial risk wasn't enough, consider the regulatory landscape. With the August 2026 deadline for the EU AI Act approaching really fast, demonstrable human oversight is quickly transforming from a neat best practice into a strict legal requirement. Article 14 specifically demands human oversight by qualified people who can intervene, stop, or completely override the system. If you're operating high-risk AI systems without this, you're facing massive compliance penalties.
Moving on to Section 2, limits of embedded oversight, why current AI safeguards are failing.
Currently, the way most companies try to solve this oversight problem is by embedding or hard-coding human guardrails directly into individual apps. Think of it like hardwiring a custom circuit breaker into every single appliance in your house, rather than just having one central breaker box in the garage. This results in duplicated logic and incredibly brittle systems. If your compliance team updates a data privacy policy, your engineers literally have to go in, rewrite the code, and redeploy the entire fleet of AI agents. It's unscalable, it's painfully slow, and it practically guarantees that your governance policies will be applied inconsistently.
Section 3, AI in the loop versus human in the loop, defining true oversight.
To fix this, we need to notice the clear shift in power here, specifically regarding decision authority. AI in the loop leaves humans in charge, with the AI merely assisting. Think of an AI co-pilot drafting a document for you. But true human in the loop puts the AI in the driver's seat. The AI is making the actual decisions, while selectively calling on humans to supervise, validate, or handle exceptions. In this model, the risk shifts from human over-reliance to incorrect autonomous actions by the AI. And that shift, it demands a completely different approach to system design.
So to understand exactly when human intervention is needed, we bridge technical error rates with enterprise risk management using a familiar probability impact matrix. When the AI takes the wheel, you definitely don't need a human to review every single low-impact, low-probability event. But for scenarios falling into those high-impact red zones, like large financial transactions or irreversible data modifications, human intervention isn't just helpful, it is absolutely required.
Which brings us to Section 4, decoupling your HITL architecture, the strategic solution.
Okay, let's dive into the core solution here, decoupling your human-in-the-loop architecture. Instead of embedding the oversight inside the application code like we talked about, we treat it as an independent, centralized pillar. It sits right alongside your data and your application workflows as a shared service. The AI app simply sends a request to the centralized component, which then figures out if a human needs to look at it, routes it to the right person, and sends the human's decision back to the AI. It's a massive paradigm shift that completely solves that brittleness problem we just discussed.
The crucial point is how this decoupled model actually executes in the real world. It empowers you to effortlessly deploy 2 distinct patterns. First, synchronous approvals. This pauses the AI's execution to wait for a human to hit approve or reject. You use this to block high-stakes financial mistakes. Second, asynchronous auditing.
The AI executes immediately to maintain its speed, but everything is logged for human to review later. You use this for low-risk, easily reversible actions, like tagging an internal document. Decoupling lets you mix and match these approaches based purely on the risk of the specific task.
Section 5. The 4 dimensions of oversight, a framework for governance.
This is your strategic framework, and you can actually think of it in terms of the CLEAR method for structured prompts and policies. First, when must an AI escalate? You set strict limits and confidence thresholds based on real data. Second, who has authority? This is the context, dynamically routing to a manager versus a compliance officer. Third, what action do they take? These are your result formats. Do they approve, reject, or just audit? And finally, where do they receive the alert? This is the action channel, routing time-sensitive approvals directly to Slack and lower priority audits to an email queue.
By utilizing this 4-dimensional framework, you unlock what is perhaps the most powerful concept in this entire explainer: progressive autonomy. If you build your oversight correctly today, you are actually building a system that lets you safely and measurably increase automation tomorrow. You can let the AI operate with fewer interruptions as it empirically proves its reliability over time, dynamically adjusting those confidence thresholds. You start safe and you scale fast.
Finally, Section 6. Actionable next steps. Immediate ROI for leaders.
I want you to take these 3 specific actions right back to your engineering and compliance leaders. Step 1, force the move away from hard-coded guardrails. Mandate a centralized policy engine so your compliance team can update rules without waiting on engineering. Step 2, stop guessing when the AI should escalate. Calibrate those escalation triggers using your own actual production data, not just generic industry benchmarks. And Step 3, aggressively prepare for the 2026 EU AI Act by ensuring all human interactions are logged, auditable, and easily accessible.
I'll leave you with this final, critical thought to consider. The technology driving autonomous agents is moving incredibly fast. But as your AI scales up to execute real-world, high-stakes actions, are your governance structures genuinely evolving fast enough to prevent a catastrophe? Because if you don't build scalable, decoupled oversight today, you risk your AI deployment ending up as a very costly, very public failure tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Take these frameworks, share them with your teams, and start building AI you can actually trust.